So for this hour, at least a few good minutes of this hour, let's turn our focus to Indianapolis. Now, if you go back a couple weeks ago, there was optimism that franchise was going to be a playoff team, and they were loaded up this season. They had solved their quarterback blues, and now you look at what's going on 2 weeks into the season, and the Indianapolis Colts off to the 0-1-1 start, the very unsexy 0-1-1 start. The Colts are in a deep doo-doo situation with the Chiefs coming into town. Coach Frank Reich has given his State of the Union address on the Colts, and I don't know if you heard what he had to say. Possibly not. Reich, who's been there for a while, the old Eagle assistant, says he still believes, and he has confidence in Matt Ryan, his embattled quarterback. He said, quote, "What I love about Matt is that he takes responsibility. He's the leader. I could not be happier that he's our quarterback," Reich said. He went on to say he's an elite leader, and I really believe he can be an elite player in this offense. Close quote. All right, so let's parse the words here. Let us discuss the question. Do you believe that Frank Reich couldn't be happier with Matt Ryan as the Colts quarterback? So I am shaking my head passionately now is what I'm doing. So I've got Eddie Murphy, Porsche, and Property Brothers. And we're going to put the puzzle pieces together, and we're going to make the jigsaw puzzle. Even if we're missing pieces, we're still going to finish it. All right, so to lead off here, Frank Reich has to say this. We've been around for a few years now. There is nothing else to speak of publicly. It's right out of sportscliche.com, which I am a contributor to over the years. I've sent cliches into sportscliche.com. In fact, my name is at the list of people that have submitted cliches. But you got to play the game. You got to play the game. Can you imagine if Frank Reich had spoken the truth and said, boy, this guy, man, we thought he had something left, but there's nothing left. You ever tried to drive a car without gas? That's watching this guy play quarterback. If he had said that, there would have been alarm bells going off. 5-alarm fire. Would have been a 5-alarm fire if he had said that. And so what you have to do as a coach, if you want to keep your job, you have to play the game. You have to be like Eddie Murphy in The Nutty Professor. You have to have multiple personalities. One version is for the public media consumption, and that's the good-hearted professor. And the other is behind closed doors, the obnoxious buddy love, right? That's the real person's what's going on behind closed doors. And this guy, Frank Reich, a former player, backup in the NFL and all, he's a Rhodes Scholar when it comes to revolving door at the quarterback position. He has spent 5 seasons as coach in Indy. Year number 1, let's go back in the Wayback Machine. There was Andrew Luck. Then you had Jacoby Brissett, followed by Phillip Rivers, and then Carson Wentz. And now, wait a minute, Matty Ice. So Matt Ryan is not only a quarterback, he is lousy. And that's what he's been to start his career with the Colts. Put up some garbage time numbers, helter-skelter numbers, not garbage time, but helter-skelter numbers in a desperation situation to get a tie against Houston. A lot of empty yards. But if you go to the numbers, Ryan has 1 touchdown, numero uno, 4 interceptions, and 5 fumbles in 2 games. So he's averaging 2.5 fumbles per game. Now, fortunately for him, only 1 of those was lost, but the 2 interceptions per game, not ideal either. He is tied with Baker Mayfield for the lead in fumbles and second in interceptions with Joe Burrow. Overall, you look at the full body of work 2 weeks into the season, and Matt Ryan in a 32-team league with 33 qualified quarterbacks, because you had Dak Prescott get hurt, so there's 2 quarterbacks in Dallas that are qualified. Matt Ryan is 31st on the quarterback statistics as far as quarterback rating is concerned. The Colts offense, they are dead last. Page down, page down, page down in scoring offense. Of course, You figure that would be the case considering they didn't do anything. They put up bupkis against Jacksonville. But putting that stat sheet together, and you are playing the first 2 games of the year, what we call clearing the runway games, getting off to a nice start, clearing the runway for takeoff, when you have the Texans and the Jags, divisional opponents. Now, granted, they were on the road, but when you play those 2 teams to begin the season, you're like, all right, you're licking your chops. You're like, we're good to go on this. Oh, wonderful. It's a great upshot on that. You're going to win a couple of games. And instead, they're 0-1-1. Now, furthermore, what has been the bugaboo for Matty Ice? The turnover is a big part of it. But Ryan, the very reason that he was available, right? The Colts let their guard down. The reason he was available from the Atlanta at a bargain basement price is because there's a lot of miles on the old odometer. It's kind of like going out and buying a Porsche. You're all excited. You've always wanted to have a Porsche. You finally pull the trigger. You're like, okay, I got my Porsche. You're all excited. Unfortunately, you didn't actually read the fine print that you bought a Porsche, but it's a 1977 Porsche 911, and it was bought off the internet, sight unseen. It's been sitting in the front yard of a guy's house in Greasy Corner, Arkansas, for the past 30 years. It's a rust bucket. Oxidation. Matt Ryan is a falling star. Do not let a falling star fall on you. And if you look at the Venn diagram, Ryan, years ago with the Falcons, MVP, but lately a lot of mediocrity. Not MVP, mediocrity is what he's been. Last season in Georgia, he was the 18th ranked quarterback, and a lot of that as a stat bandit in garbage time. In 2020, the COVID year, where everything was all wonky, 21st ranked in the NFL. So last couple years, he's been a middle of the pack or low middle of the pack quarterback, and this year he's off to the even worse start, supposedly with better players around him. Now, I am not fully Benny Buzzkill because there's another side to this story. It looks bad right now. It looks bad. The Colts are not quick on the uptake here. Things are not going well for them, obviously, right? As you chew this over, though, is there a path out of the darkness? Is there a path for the Colts out of the darkness? Surprisingly, yes. Right? And you got to look at this as the Property Brothers say on TV there. Real estate, right? Location, location, location. And that term popped up on the real estate market in real estate lingo 100 years ago. It's one of the great weasel terms. Doesn't matter if the house is a piece of crap. Doesn't matter if it's a terrible, investment. Location, location, location. So the Colts are garbage. They are garbage right now. But the reason I'm not completely burying them and I'm putting the shovel away for now is because I will be Benny Brightside. The AFC South is an outhouse. Oops-a-daisy. The AFC South, you look around there, and there is a path to go from sin to salvation. If you look around the room, the Texans aren't even trying. They consist of cheap, second-rate ball players in Houston. The Titans, they're 0-2, and Ryan Tannehill looks like he's completely washed up. Got nothing left. And then you've got Jacksonville, who's off to the 1-1 start, and they're currently sitting at the very top of the division. Now, what does that mean? It means that should Indy get back to basics, now don't hold your breath on this, but if they get back to basics here, there is that avenue. They can program the GPS and find sunshine and rainbows and all that. They're ranked 11th in total defense. Go back to ground and pound. On offense, Jonathan Taylor has been a top 3 running back in the modern NFL. You make him the centerpiece, which he should have been all the way along here. You run an elementary offense. Essentially, if you look at the numbers here, you hide the quarterback. You say Matt Ryan can't play anymore. He's a liability, so we need to limit the damage for Matt Ryan and run that rudimentary offense. Make him a supporting actor. Put him in the number 2 chair as a guy riding shotgun. on the stagecoach there with the Colt horses in front of him and all that, as much as possible. So you have to win, what, 10 games? If the Colts go 10-6-1, that should be enough to win the division. Heck, the way things have started, you could win 9 games, right? You could go 9 wins, that's it. And then you're in. The way things have started here this year. So it's still doable after the 0-1-1 start for the Horseshoes. But Matt Ryan, he's not there. At this point, you got to say, this is not a page turner. This is a put the book away situation with Matt Ryan, and he's not going to be there for the long haul. A one and done. And so who will be the next quarterback of the Colts? Let's see. What veteran player is going to get released? What veteran player will be traded for a bag of dog food or chow or whatever? We'll look at that at another time.